Hola, buenas noches, good afternoon. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas a nuestro EADA Annual Meeting 2024. Mi nombre es Aina Calpe y en nombre de EADA Business School quiero daros la bienvenida a esta nueva edición de nuestro encuentro anual. My name is Aina Calpe and I wanted to thank you for being here today. We are grateful to see you again in this special event. Y es que es una gran alegría volver a reunir en esta ocasión a una gran diversidad de público, al patronato de la Fundación EADA, a miembros del International Advisory Board, a autoridades y representantes del mundo local, tanto político, económico como empresarial, a nuestro equipo, maravilloso equipo EADA, a representantes y a nuestros aliados, patrocinadores y colaboradores, a todos ellos y por supuesto, a nuestra querida comunitat de alumni. També volem donar una especial benvinguda a tots aquells que esteu presents però en la distància i agrair al nostre partner mediàtic empresarial, Via Empresa, per la seva cobertura i la seva difusió d'aquest esdeveniment des del seu portal a més de 350.000 professionals del món de l'economia i l'empresa. A tots i a totes, moltíssimes gràcies per ser-hi, malgrat la distància. Hace ya un tiempo que no teníamos la ocasión de reencontrarnos todos y desde entonces han pasado muchas cosas. Una pandemia mundial nos hizo sentir que el mundo ya no solo es VUCA o BANI, sino que puede detenerse. Pero también hemos vivido experiencias positivas, nuevos retos, iniciativas y actividades que hoy queremos explicaros. La jornada de hoy estamos muy orgullosos de poder disfrutar de este evento porque culmina la EADA que en el año 2017 decidió ser la escuela de negocios que forma y acompaña a los profesionales para que a través de sus empresas generen impacto positivo. Y es que los que estamos aquí hoy, estamos aquí por una razón. La realidad de hoy nos apela a todos. Y desde nuestro rol profesional sabemos que hay que dejar atrás ese viejo paradigma de generar menor impacto negativo para empezar a generar impacto positivo. La jornada de hoy alternará conocimiento, testimoniales, reflexión, participación y acción. Hagamos que este momento no nos deje indiferentes. Por eso la jornada tiene el titular Tiempo de readaptarse para generar impacto positivo. Temps de readaptar-se per generar impacte positiu. Time to readapt to create positive impact. Empecemos. Y qué mejor que empezar escuchando a Jordi Díaz, Dean y Director General de EADA Business School, para conocer de primera mano todo lo que se ha reflejado en ese vídeo inicial de la nueva EADA. Invitamos al escenario a Jordi Díaz. Buenas tardes, Jordi.
Buenas tardes, Aina.
Bueno, qué encuentro tan especial el de hoy. Cuéntanos, ¿cómo sentís desde EADA poder reencontraros con toda esta calurosa audiencia?
La verdad es que cuando pensamos en lo que somos capaces de unir y normalmente con tanto cariño, es pura emoción. Hoy es un día emocionante y esperamos también que nuestra audiencia hoy se lo pase muy bien.
Jordi, let me remind the audience that EADA was the first business school founded in Barcelona in 1957, and today, together with ESADE and IESE, it is one of the Barcelona business schools cluster, ranked only behind Paris or London among a top business schools within the same city. EADA is currently ranked as top 25 in the world in executive education, top 50 in the world for their master's program. Moreover, I would like to highlight that EADA has also been recognized by the World PRR World Rating, that's the Positive Impact Rating, as one of the best world business schools for the world. So I guess the question is, what is behind all this positive evolution?
Thank you. Well, I think, I think if we summarize, because, and the video said a lot of things, we summarize in 3 things. I think this is vision, commitment, and engagement. And let me elaborate a bit what I mean. Vision from the Board of Trustees, led by President Koke Pursals here with us, and surrounded by most of our board members are here present today, and even also our advisory board members that are as well here presently today. So the vision and helping us to think big. So that is the key number 1. The key number 2, and just by attending this event you feel it, is the commitment from our team. So an event like this one is organized by our team. And the ones that are welcoming us today are members of this growing EADA team. So I would say this is the key number 2. And the last one is engagement. Engagement from whom? From our students, so our community of participants, a community of graduates, alumni members, community of corporate partners. And when we look about the alumni community, only in the last 3 months, I visited 5 different cities around the world, having get-togethers, meeting, casual events, more formal events, and just, the emotion as well in those events and the connections established there are pure inspiration for our day-to-day. So this is, in a way, and the meeting, and you see Reskill to Regenerate, the meeting today, we feel as well, and there are many, phenomenal speakers that will join us later today, that it's a kind of a declaration. So it's a declaration that things have to change, and that the business world has a very active role to be part of the solution. So in a way, as I said, this is a call for action, and I hope that is the way we will end up today.
Excelente, Jordi. Ahora queríamos preguntarte sobre las novedades más destacables que hemos podido ver en el vídeo de la nueva EADA que ejemplifican esta nueva EADA.
Muchas gracias. Y también esta dualidad de idioma representa bastante lo que es
Sí,
EADA, ¿no?
los hemisferios también.
So, en ese sentido, sí, es difícil resumir todo el vídeo, pero de nuevo, si tratamos de resumir en otras 3 claves lo que puede haber sido, o lo que está siendo esa nueva EADA, ese cambio de movimiento, y siempre la nueva EADA defendiendo y sintiéndose súper orgullosa de haber sido fundada en el 57 y tener un ADN particular. Esas claves diríamos que ahora, o las cosas que están sucediendo ahora para este nuevo movimiento, una es, sí, hemos lanzado por primera vez en la historia un grado universitario, llamamos el Global BBA en alianza con Esquema, y es un Global BBA que para una institución que nace de la educación ejecutiva y que se ha ido a formar a gente de 18 a 22 años, es todo un paso. Y eso nos está ayudando a dimensionar una institución que va a crecer y que está creciendo de manera destacada. Y también, como decía en el vídeo, esos 90 países distintos ya representados en nuestras aulas. Y el número 2 es, muy bien, si crecemos y desarrollamos la institución, tenemos que tener dijéramos, más capacidad para atenderlos muy bien. Y ahí es la inauguración próxima, al inicio del próximo año académico, de nuestro segundo campus, de nuevo en la ciudad, en el centro de la ciudad, el Campus Provenza, que será el segundo campus en la ciudad de Barcelona. Y el tercero, que tú también hablabas de ello, es ese movimiento de tratar de ser no solo una muy buena escuela de negocios en el mundo, sino tratar de ser una de las mejores escuelas de negocios para el mundo. Es decir, lo que pasa en una escuela de negocios y el perfil que tenemos aquí, y he saludado personalmente a un montón de grandes graduados y empresarios, son personas que toman decisiones. Y es ayudar a que más personas estén más entrenadas y tomen mejores decisiones.
That's very interesting, Jordi. And finally, we would like to ask you about who's attending this event today and why are we called to the headline of today?
Well, if I think who is attending, as we were kind of discovering, so we have some of our current students, we have alumni members, we have all our authorities, but also, the city itself. I mean, we have a beautiful project called Barcelona Más B, which is trying to impact in the city, so beyond just business, because we need a good and healthy city to perform and do our business. So basically, those are the different stakeholders. And events like the one we are organizing today, I think will leave us with some food for thought, as we say, some questions to be solved after the event. But my headline, and with that I'd like to finish, my headline is for all: be open and let's say, adopt one thing that we said in our classes, a growth mindset. So that is with, what I'd like to finish, saying, okay, well, we achieve certain level, let's achieve, all of us in our different realities, a higher level and having a higher impact. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jordi Díaz, Director General de EADA Business School, IDIN. And your insights are truly enlightening, and congratulations on navigating these significant challenges at EADA Business School.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you could ask a question to all young people in the world, what would you like to ask them?
Vad är بسألهم كيفهم؟
I think I'm scared that I won't make any difference.
I think I am worried about climate change.
I mean, if I watch the news and I see like the flooding in Pakistan and then the heat waves across Europe, I'm like, yo, it's a bit on the extreme side. I mean, it's happening.
And I'm worried that we don't have the right people in positions of power that are able to change that quick enough.
Ce qui me fait peur concernant le monde de demain, c'est qu'on arrive à une époque où les humains perdent leur humanité.
I really hope that I'm gonna be in a position where I can change something for the better.
Um desejo que eu tenho muito grande é que as pessoas comecem a tentar pensar de maneira mais coletiva.
As cliché as it is, as soon as we're divided, we're gonna fall apart.
Variante, e clar că nu o să rezolvăm toate problemele Universului, că nu despre asta e vorba. Dar ce reușim să rezolvăm noi ca oameni?
The educational system has to adapt to the world we're in right now. Higher education should be accessible to a lot more people, because in order to find your passion, find your career, you might try a lot of different things. See where you fit, see where you find yourself, and go on from there.
Moi, je trouve que vraiment le rapport à la nature, c'est quelque chose qu'on perd et qui devrait être enseigné à l'école.
Musta tuntuu, että se jää ihmisillä monissa eri maissa käsittelemättä, että miten he on suhteessa he yksilöinä, mutta he myös valtiona tai kaupunkina tai osavaltiona tai maanosana niin suhteessa muuhun maailmaan.
我觉得需要学到的是换位思考吧，试着去理解别人，包容别人。我觉得虽然这个听上去很简单，但我觉得大家在生活中，大家的看法可能都不太一样。就这个时候你怎么去理解对方的想法，我觉得这个非常的重要，而不是试图的去说服别人，让别人跟你做到完全一样。对。
If you could ask a question to all young people in the world, is there something that you want to ask?
What are we waiting for?
Magnífico vídeo, magnífica iniciativa, una iniciativa Youth Talks, la mayor consulta mundial jamás realizada a jóvenes de 15 a 29 años, llevada a cabo a finales de 2023. Una iniciativa impulsada por The Higher Education for Good Foundation, una fundación creada por Alice Guillon, presidenta de nuestra escuela socia Esquema, que cuenta con más de 40 instituciones educativas y mundiales entre sus socios, todas ellas comprometidas en promover un modelo educativo mejor para las futuras generaciones. I am now pleased to introduce you to Dr. Julia Woolney, Professor of Responsible Marketing at EADA, Impact Director of the EADA Sustainability Hub, and Head of the Youth Talk projects in Spain. Let's find out what young people think as agents of change. Julia, the floor is yours.
When you think of the future, your children, your students, the next generation, what do you wish for them? To build this desired future, what would you be ready to give up? What should young people learn at school and at university to build this desired future? Good evening. I'm very pleased to be here to share with you results of a beautiful study called Youth Talks. All too often, the voice of young people is not heard. It's maybe sometimes ignored, or even considered a nuisance. And yet, it is their future current leaders are playing with. Those 3 questions I just asked you were among a dozen asked of a 15 to 29-year-olds as part of this beautiful project called the Youth Talks, reaching 45,000 respondents. Yes, these questions are probing, they're difficult, but also they're open and they're curious. By inviting young people to honestly share their thoughts, the Youth Talks consultation gave us a real insight into their wishes, fears, and values. It was the first time this amount of young voices was analyzed also with the help of AI. From 212 countries, young people shared 1 million ideas between October 22 and May 23. It covered 7 global regions, including those you see on the screen. And they were further divided into sub-regions, so all of you, when you have time, you can go into the Youth Talks website and actually view results for your region and see how it compares to others. 2 more things to say before I get into the results. One is, why is EADA involved in this project? And the other is, how did AI help us with this project? Those 3 questions that I shared with you in the very beginning really explain why EADA is involved, but not just EADA. There were many other partners involved in this project, 60 partners, and they together have launched the Youth Talks consultation, headed by the visionary Marine Hedang. The motivation to get involved could be summarized by the words of Jane Goodall, a renowned conservationist and scientist. She said, "Nobody should be appointed to a decision-making capacity if they are not thinking of the future generations." The Youth Talks study really allowed young people to respond to open-ended questions with words, images, videos, some of those you saw just now, and using cutting-edge technologies, artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and semantic analysis, really helped to analyze this rich data. This really is vital because it makes Youth Talks really talk, as you saw in those videos. The qualitative approach, and I'm a professor, so I need to say something about research, made all the difference to the internal validity of this study. Or, well, in other words, to the extent to which the observed results really represent the truth in this population. In qualitative research, you may know this, of course, external validity is sometimes sacrificed when we have high internal validity. But on the contrary, in this Youth Talks study, vast amounts of verbatim responses in 6 languages, clustered using artificial intelligence and human sense-making, allowed us for cultural sensitivity and scientific accuracy. So finally, now we can go to the results. I have 5 key learnings to share with you. The first one, when young people were asked what I wish for the world, environmental protection was the second most mentioned wish, a category denoting such responses as solve climate change, less pollution, and preserve biodiversity. This response had the highest percentage in South Asia, a region that already is experiencing extreme climate events, floods, landslides, droughts. But the greatest wish of young people is not connected with the planet, with the environment, nor the wonders of AI, but with world peace. This sentiment was quoted as a priority by all the respondents in the world and had the highest count in the Middle East and North Africa. At a time when we see rising conflicts across regions, even those regions that have seen harmony for generations, the quest for peace holds a central place in young people's minds. For the majority of global respondents, personal worries were linked to failure, not fulfilling their dreams, and financial instability. This should be seen in the context of rising cost of living, rising debt, and inflation in many parts of the world. The personal economic situation is a major preoccupation, of course, even in historically prosperous regions, such as Western Europe or the USA. In fact, paradoxically, around 1 in 3 Western respondents mentioned it as a priority, but only 1 in 10 in the rest of the world. Those respondents highlighted the fear of failure and not reaching their dreams as their main preoccupation. Climate anxiety, a phrase that was not even used 20 years ago and means worrying about the future of the planet and its inhabitants, came to the fore as the main worry for 40% of the young. Their thoughts conveyed really an acute awareness of current issues and a real frustration and an ability to influence the status quo. I'd like to share with you one of the verbatim comments from a 24-year-old woman in Chile. She said, "It worries me that people are very disconnected from what's happening around them. They do not get involved, they seem distant from one another, there's no common good, just a lot of people living in the same planet with little sense of shared purpose." Clearly, we can see it as a call for unity and collective action. We are used to individual comforts and convenience achieved through industrialization, getting on a plane to visit an exotic location, driving a car, buying latest fashion. Yet, our young respondents said they are ready to give these things up. Almost half the participants mentioned material goods and lifestyles, such as having a car, flying, or buying the latest luxury products, as something they would renounce for a better future. This shows us, at least in intention, and we all know there is a long way from intention to behavior, they see beyond individual interests and consider the global impact of their behaviors. Interestingly, in the Western world, a quarter mentioned they are not willing to give up material goods and lifestyles. This tension results really show that there is two different groups, those that are willing to sacrifice their personal comfort for global well-being and those that are not. What young people would categorically not give up, not renounce, are family and loved ones. The highest number of unprompted responses to this effect came from Latin America and South Asia. Secondly, of course, they are not willing to give up personal ambitions and beliefs. It really shows that young people have strong principles and respect their own and others' well-being. Finally, when we asked young people what they should learn at school and university, to prepare for the future that they envision or maybe don't even know yet, around the globe they prioritized learning personal values and virtues. Many mention concepts such as respect, kindness, solidarity. They are unanimous on the urgent need to learn how to live together, to build a society based on shared values, in a world where individualism and isolation often get the better of humanity. They urge educators to transform teaching to address 21st century challenges and their young generation's ambitions while maintaining academic relevance. All the other alumni, participants, staff, partners, friends gathered here are part of this transformation, ensuring that our training and courses reflect not only economic, but also social and environmental benefits, demonstrating how purpose and business can and should coexist, creating academic research, projects, programs that address sustainability and positive impact, challenging the business as usual, as students, as participants, as communities, and believing that we can reskill to regenerate. Thank you.
Alphonse Carnicero Carmona, Able Human Motion. Andrés Rubiano, Eki. Jennifer Baun-Minkus, Giddy Conscious Beauty. Angel Bow, Simpler. Gabriel Medina Guy, Bike Club. Lara Hussain, The Waste Lab. Gilles de Decker, Paradise City Festival. María José Pujol Rojo, Icària Iniciatives Socials. Jordi Ruiz Planas, Miton. Pablo Mas, Yux. Luciana Barbosa Barros, Biocosm. Sergio Restrepo, El sueño de chocolate de Luker Chocolate. Ginés Curral, Tot Net. Bueno, cuánta energía, cuánto esfuerzo y cuánta determinación en todas y todos estos exalumnos de ADA que hemos calificado como alumni de impacto, porque eso es lo que buscan cada día y lo que son. Gracias por vuestro magnífico testimonial. Y ahora vamos a pasar al momento de conocimiento y aprendizaje con la primera mesa de debate moderada por la doctora y profesora de ADA, directora del Máster en Sustainable Business and Innovation y miembro del Sustainability Hub de EADA, la doctora Federica Massa Saluzzo. And now we proceed to the first round table where Federica will introduce us to the professionals who will accompany us. They are determined individuals committed to the positive impact of their organizations or companies. This table will enlighten us under the title, Discussion Topic, Business Impact Ecosystem. Let's go there, Federica Massa Saluzzo and the three representatives of the ecosystem of change.
Please let me introduce our beautiful, fantastic members of the first round table. Team Eves, President of the Board of Trustees of Conscious Capitalism. Welcome, team. Thank you. If you want here. Raimon Pujanet, co-founder and president of B-Lab Spain. Thank you, Rai. And Tatiana Fernandez, the head of economic strategy of Generalitat de Catalunya. Welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. It is a luxury to have you here, so I will go straight to the point because you have a lot of knowledge to share. But we're talking about something that is innovative and technical. We're talking about ecosystems and ecosystem change. So for someone, it could be useful to understand what are systems. We talk about different types of systems. There are natural systems, there are economic, human-made systems, and they have typical features that are shared. Systems are made of interconnected elements, and they work for each other. The systems exist to take care of themselves and their components, so they protect from external risks. For example, our economic system and our natural systems have mechanisms that work in order to produce a richer economy or a bigger economy. But there is one element of system that is evolution. Natural systems are beautiful because they take care of themselves by protecting themselves and evolving. When a system doesn't evolve, it is a system that is not particularly healthy. While this doesn't happen so much in the natural system, sometimes in the economic system this happens. One example is that we use tools that are quite traditional and outdated. Our GDP measures economic performance, but does not distinguish among the type of activities that determine the health of the system. So, if we build a fantastic and sustainable regenerative business, GDP does grow, but so does if we cut a forest. And this doesn't seem to be reasonable for a healthy system that protects all of us. So I have these people in front of me who are experts in managing systems, not just firms, and I would like to take advantage of their knowledge to understand more and to share it with you. Tatiana, I would start from you. You work in the public system. To produce a change, we have to update mental frames, cognitive frames, things that we take for granted, we have to reconsider them. What are the major mental frame changes that should happen, and what are the competencies that a public institution should have to put forward this change?
Okay, thank you
Simple,
for the question. A simple question, yes. So we need to understand that our current systems are perfectly designed to deliver the results that we have now. poverty, pollution, polarization. Those are results that no one wants, but that each one of us is contributing to with our daily decisions and our daily behaviors. So governments and society in general need to understand that the current societal or environmental and social challenges are huge. They occur in very complex systems with high uncertainty and high volatility. And therefore, these challenges don't have a solution. They cannot be approached linearly. Action plans, traditional action plans, don't work. They require simultaneous changes at many levels and by many stakeholders. They require changes in policies, in governance, in markets, in science and technology, in social mental frameworks. If we agree on that, then the conclusions are quite straightforward. So governments need to accept, need to face the complexity of our reality, understanding the forces, the conflicting interests that are acting in our system, and accepting that resistance for change is huge, and that consensus is not possible. Consensus is not possible when we are talking about transformation. Governments, it's important that they make explicit choices, explicit commitments to the future they want to contribute to, accepting the benefits, of course, but also the cost. They need to deal with the cost. And it's very important that governments work together with companies, with researchers, with civil societies, to bridge the gap between what society deeply cares about, and this system with positive impact, and the current situation that no one wants. And if I can speak a little bit about what we are doing in Generalitat de Catalunya, in the work we are doing with the Smart Specialization Strategy, this is a strategy focused on accelerating green and just transitions. And it's a strategy explicitly recognizing that it's very important and there is a urgent need to radically change our socio-technical systems. This is the way we produce and we deliver food, health, mobility, energy, and how are we doing that, no? The main priority for us is to create collective learning spaces in which policymakers, with researchers, with companies, with civil society, explore and develop alternatives to current unsustainable practices. Alternatives that are more effective in addressing social and environmental challenges. And I cannot explain the whole strategy, but I want to focus on that, the key element that it's very important for the success of the strategy, and it's on our ability to develop a new profile of policymakers. Policymakers with a systemic understanding of current social and environmental challenges, with skills to deal with conflict, with the skills to deal with different expectations, with a capacity to avoid that vested interest stops government to do what is so urgently needed. And very important, policymakers need to understand that they cannot do this alone. It's impossible for governments to address these challenges by themselves. They need to have the complicity, they need to make alliances with those companies, with those entrepreneurs, with those researchers and citizens that share with them the same aspiration for a system with positive impact.
Fantastic. It's incredibly complicated, and I think that you touched upon some of the key points that are a system can only be changed by a system. We come from years also in business education where we have trained these superheroes, entrepreneurs that change the world, but they don't, because change comes with a collective effort, being humble enough to understand that you are a point in a mechanism. And I think this is why we have Raimon and team that have a lot of experience in the private sector, but also overviewing systems on changing the private sector. So for you, the question would be, what are the most urgent needs within the private sector? And if you can also share, 3 minutes each, a successful and an unsuccessful case of bringing these actors together with all these egos and all these companies. Time starting.
Okay, thanks, Fred, and thanks, Jordi and the team for the invitation. I would say consciousness. It's the main thing, and consciousness has two perspectives, the moral perspective and the practical perspective. From the moral point of view, we are talking about redefining success in business. So that means understanding profit as a consequence and benefit as the goal, so the mission and the purpose. I would leave that to Tim, which is more expert on that. From the practical point of view, we're talking about understanding, digesting, and igniting something that is unavoidable, which is transformation for businesses. Why is it unavoidable? Because there are 6 forces that are pushing towards that. So there's a legal framework that it's changing. Europe is leading this way, but also when we see our clients, they're changing their behavior. When we see the competition, they're getting adapted to this concept that we call sharing value. When we see the talent, we want to capture and retain that talent, and they want different things to remain in the organizations. We also see that there are value chains that are rapidly changing because of the legal framework and other things. And finally, we're seeing a change in behavior of the financial sector. They want less risk. So not adapting to these changes means more risk. Okay, so this is a framework. What do companies need to do? They need to think about their value proposition. And that value proposition is based on this concept of sharing value. So taking into account all the actors, all the shareholders, but also stakeholders, which are clients, which is the environment, etc. And finally, thinking about the transformation in the organization, we need to think about this has to be talent-based. So it's us, that we are in hands of the innovation processes, and also we need to get adapted and also find balance and also leverage on the digital tools. But that are tools that are put in our hands in order to make innovation. One success, I would say, I have 2 ideas, but I would say the B Corp movement, it has brought together many actors. It has brought a community of certified companies, but also other companies that work with the standards, which are helping them to improve. But also we're working with the academy. So we have clusters of students, researchers, etc., that are investigating how to do good for this system that we are trying to change. And we are also moving the legal frameworks in here. So we just made legal DSB, Sociedades de Beneficio de Interés Común. So, and there are others, examples like Barcelona MSB program, which you are part of them as a partner. Something that it's not working quite well, we had a conversation before, so how the renewable sector here is developing. And we were talking about how important it is things to happen and not keep on being strategist and thinking of strategies all the time. So we have to let good projects locally based and adapted to get executed.
Super clear. Thank you, Rai. Tim, the same question for you.
So thanks, Fedi, and thanks, Raymond, for mentioning the word consciousness, because I'm here tonight to represent conscious capitalism. But I want to first link to your first comment about increased GDP, Fedi, because I don't think we're all conscious that 3 to 4% increase in GDP per year means that we have to double the world's economy within 20 to 30 years. And obviously that means the extractive practices that we've got will also be doubled. So behind GDP, we have capitalism, we have businesses. And to me, the first important point is that businesses collectively and individually are conscious of the negative impact that we create before thinking about the positive impact. Let's be, all of us, conscious that if we increase our revenue by that 3, 4, 5% per year, the impact that will have across all of our supply chain, the impact that will have in the environment. So through conscious capitalism, what we try to do is to work with leaders to help them to be conscious of different aspects of their business. Having a higher purpose, of course, which is something which we share with B Corp. Having a higher purpose where your business activity meets a society problem or an environmental problem, I think is a fantastic way to focus a business's activity. But behind that, to be very conscious about the way we lead the company, the way we work with the different stakeholders in the ecosystem. So that to me is a critical point for change.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of successes, where I've seen the most success is when businesses work together. I think we've got an excellent example here in Catalonia with the cluster organizations which the government has organized through Action. This is a fantastic network of value chains grouped into clusters, which are now actually starting to practice the art of shared value, using again a B Corp tool, the BIA tool, to assess their negative impact, but also to assess their positive impact and to measure their positive impact and have a roadmap to creating greater positive impact. So I think that's one thing that I've seen has been very successful here locally. And at a global scale, both B Corp and conscious capitalism, we get companies and leaders together to challenge each other and to make us to become braver leaders, because that is absolutely critical when we're faced with this massive systemic change that we have to go through. We have to be brave. We have to be prepared to say no to many of the things that we were programmed to say yes to before. And that's not always easy to do alone. It's much easier to do together with others. Now, in terms of failures, I'd say my simple answer, and I always say the same thing, is our financial system. Our financial system is not encouraging businesses to practice sustainable activities. And I'd leave it at that because it's as simple as that.
To the point. You have a very elegant way to make harsh critiques, and I love it. And I think it is to be underlined that sometimes organizations fail to understand what is the real objective of a sustainable practice. And so even with SDGs, they pick one of the nice colored numbers and say, oh yeah, I do that. I will do it even nicely. But they don't consider all the negative impact they have been doing. So instead of using sustainability as a nice shelter, your point was very valid. We organizations should first understand what is their negative impact and then build a positive one.
We have to look in the mirror.
Exactly. But luckily there are organizations like yours and people in the public system that are reshaping this system from the basis and from the assumptions. So that's fantastic. 2 minutes, 38 seconds for a very quick question. Your experience is so valuable. Could you share very briefly one very, very valuable resource and a very useless resource, maybe overrated, that can trigger change? Tatiana.
Everything is about people, to have the right people on board, coalitions of the willing with a clear purpose. Failure when we focus too much on coordination, consensus, we lose this purpose and we engage in useless discussions without focusing on the necessary transformative action.
Dictatorship, basically.
No. Coalitions of the willing with a clear purpose.
That is a nicer expression. And something that doesn't work at all? A resource that is overrated?
No, it's the people. You don't have these people, or you are concentrating on discussions only about getting consensus. Consensus is for defending the status quo.
I understand.
It's never going to help you to make the transitions that you need to do.
Yeah. Super clear. Thank you. Rai.
Yeah, well, people, of course. So good people, good intentioned people, but at the same time, talented people from which you can learn. And at the same time, people committed to the greater good. This is key, at least in my experience, this has worked a lot. But other tools, if you want to understand which are the problems that you want to solve and how to do it, you have to draw your theory of change. So that's a very useful tool. If you want to understand what your main stakeholders expect you do in terms of sustainability, but also at the same time, which are the risks of not doing social, environmental, and financial impact, you need to do double materiality. So from the strategy point of view. And at the same time, you need to manage all this. The BIA and the tools that B Corp provide to you are very useful. What I think is not useful, very briefly, maybe this is annoying, thinking on the ESG acronym. This means thinking about operations, not the business model.
clear. Thank you.
22 seconds.
No pressure.
I will continue where I left off before. Once companies are rewarded by particularly the financial sector, but also by investors for their positive impact and not just for their financial results, then we'll start to make some serious progress. Yeah. And I haven't got time to say anything else.
Maybe we can game the system. We're change makers. One little thing.
Well, I hadn't thought of anything.
I don't know.
I was watching the clock and said, I don't need to think about anything.
Okay, then I'll say it. Thank you. So thank you very much. I think I would like to do some kind of boycott and take the stage forever with you, but I don't think even my job would be safe. So I thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we will go on building together. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe all life comes from the ocean. My name is Yannick and I am the founder of WeWhale. 2 years ago, I thought myself, okay, what's happening in the world of whale watching? Whale watching has been around for 70 years and there hasn't been much innovation. There's a very thin line in between good whale watching practice and bad whale watching practice. There are more than 3,000 boats around doing whale watching worldwide at the moment. We still use old engines, old boats, ferry-like style tours. Diesel and petrol engine systems are creating a lot of noise, but also leave a lot of lubricants in the water and the ocean. So they basically not just create a lot of noise pollution, but also environmental pollution. So the idea is we refit our boats to hybrid ones or 100% electric ones to have this threat for the animals taken out by remodeling boats to silent ones, using electric power, using wind power, using solar power, so that we are clean and 100% animal friendly.
My name is Mercedes. I'm the director in Tenerife from WeWhale and the head of conservation. When I was a little girl, I had the luck to see a white dolphin that approached me, like less than a meter away, and we looked at each other for a while in the eyes. And at that moment, I felt freedom, I felt love, I felt a lot of curiosity. And since then, I've been in love with these animals and completely obsessed to learn more about them and to do as much as I want to help for their conservation.
Whoa! Shut up!
Okay, they like that. This is the joy of the sea. Do it again.
I believe humans only protect what they know, what they see. We at WeWhale, we have the mission to take out the persons in a responsible way, small groups, biologists on site, to really connect the people with the animals and that people can learn about them and in a final way protect them. If I see our guests on board really connecting with dolphins, with whales, it makes me really happy because I see our mission as really a place in this world. We do invite other whale watching operators to join WeWhale. We can create together the future of whale watching by being more responsible, silent and animal friendly. you liked our little short documentary. My name is Yannick. I'm one of those characters you have been seeing. Well, first of all, thank you to all of us for having the stage to represent the family of our ocean. Why I say the family of our ocean, because these animals, whales and dolphins, I believe they're pretty much the same as we human beings, just below the water. They live in families. They give each other names. They suffer when they lose a family member. They recognize themselves in a mirror, just as we do. They're curious about us the same way we are curious about them. They're highly intelligent and emotional beings, full of wisdom. To give you an example, an orca or killer whale has been around planet Earth 6 million years. We humans only 200,000 years. So it's 30 times more. So just imagine what kind of wisdom this species possess. But we still don't really understand how to connect with those majestic beings. And that's where We Whale is coming in, to serve as a platform to connect the world of humans to the world of cetaceans. I started this venture because, as you already recognized, because of my deep admiration to those animals. I'm not a biologist, I'm not a scientist, I'm an alumni of EADA, so I learned how to run a business and start a business. So I was wondering, hey, how can you combine nature with a sustainable business model? And that's where we are at the moment. 2 up-and-running boats in the Canary Islands, 1 more boat in Cadiz, where we protect the Iberian orca, and 2 more boats in mainland Spain in the upcoming month. And I hope I could give you a little bit of inspiration today to join a positive path, to make a positive impact, and to build a better future for animals, for our planet Earth, and for our youth. Thank you.
Yannick, por esta iniciativa. Y ahora damos paso a la segunda y última mesa de aprendizaje y experiencia de la mano de su moderadora, la también doctora y profesora de EADA, directora del programa de alta dirección en sostenibilidad y miembro del Sustainability Hub de EADA, la doctora Desiree Nopen. Desiree nos presentará a los miembros de la mesa, también líderes por el cambio y la transformación, bajo el título Formas de impacto positivo empresarial. Muchas gracias. Adelante.
Muchas gracias. Buenas tardes. En esta mesa tenemos el placer de contar con 3 directivos de largo recorrido que van a compartir sus experiencias, su visión acerca de fórmulas de impacto positivo. Adelante, Aurora Catá, la vicepresidenta de la America's Cup, la Copa América de Vela. Uriol Piña, socio fundador de ABA Capital. Bienvenido. Y Mario Rovirosa, el CEO de Ferrer. Bienvenido, Mario. Entonces, como ya hemos ido viendo, oyendo esta tarde, los retos medioambientales y sociales a que nos enfrentamos son enormes, pero también lo es el compromiso para afrontarlos. Hay tendencias clave que estamos observando acerca de la descarbonización de las cadenas de suministro. Estamos viendo la voluntad de tener la perspectiva de doble materialidad a la hora de afrontar temas ESG. Estamos viendo que hay restauración de ecosistemas terrestres, acuáticos, por parte de empresas que entienden que dependen de ellos para la transformación de sus productos o servicios. Entonces, con todo esto, reto y las acciones que estamos emprendiendo, es vital que ampliamos nuestra visión de evaluar resultados de la empresa en su cadena de valor a evaluar los impactos de la empresa en la sociedad más ampliamente hablando. ¿Vale? Entonces hablamos de impacto, ya llevamos un tiempo hablando de impacto, ¿no? Impactos, diferenciando entre la reducción de impactos negativos, queremos reducir emisiones, fugas de plástico al entorno natural, explotación de las personas, pero a la vez buscamos aumentar impactos positivos. Queremos fomentar la biodiversidad, queremos frenar la subida de la temperatura, queremos atender las necesidades básicas de las personas. Entonces, ambas son importantes. Queremos reducir impactos negativos y queremos aumentar impactos positivos. Lo que buscamos es que la balanza neta sea cada vez más positiva. Entonces, Mario, en Ferrer, hacéis esta diferenciación entre impactos negativos y positivos y esta diferenciación, ¿cómo se materializa en vuestro día a día?
Bien, muchas gracias, Desiree. Efectivamente, contemplamos ambas de las situaciones. Es importante entender en la parte, digamos, de negativa que no es solo dentro de las fronteras de Ferrer, sino que, como decías ahora, contempla toda la cadena de valor y, por lo tanto, hay proyectos súper importantes para influir en proveedores, pero también influir en partners, para que sean más como nos gustaría que fueran y, por lo tanto, trabajemos solo con aquellos que realmente tienen ese modelo de trabajo de impacto empresarial. Y como ejemplos concretos, digamos, de la parte positiva, pues solemos hacer campañas que a veces pues, regeneran biosistemas o recuperan playas, o un caso muy concreto en Barcelona, estamos desarrollando hectáreas de huertos urbanos en la ciudad para tratar de reducir el CO2, para tratar de reducir también la temperatura, para generar mayor biofilia. Esto tiene una parte medioambiental, pero también tiene otra parte social, porque quien cuida también de estos huertos pues, es gente con capacidades distintas. Hay proyectos también sociales en la parte positiva que tienen que ver con los colectivos vulnerables muy impactados, especialmente en la ciudad. Pues a veces son menos de carácter sistémico, como pueden ser pues, millones de comidas que damos a homeless y familias necesitadas en Barcelona, o a veces pueden ser de carácter más sistémico, como educación musical que damos a niños también en los barrios más desfavorecidos de Barcelona. Todo esto está muy bien, pero no me gustaría acabar mi primera intervención haciendo un llamamiento sobre todo a la parte negativa. Es decir, la primera responsabilidad y obligación que creo que tenemos las compañías es hacer un esfuerzo importante en reducir nuestro impacto y nuestra huella de carbono, tratar bien a nuestras personas, es decir, lo que está dentro de nuestras fronteras es lo primero que tenemos que hacer muy bien. Y hago este llamamiento porque últimamente estoy viendo un cierto desenganche de las compañías que han prometido para el 2030, para el 2050 cosas, se está acercando el 2030 y empiezas a notar que hay discursos del tipo, bueno, cuando mejore la situación económica ya me pondré, ¿no? Y esto no puede pasar.
Muy bien, muy bien. Gracias por la franqueza en ese sentido. Y también estás apuntando a que el perseguir impactos medioambientales tiene sinergias con buscar impactos sociales. Entonces los dos van muchas veces de la mano. Gracias. Oriol, ¿qué tipos de impactos buscáis en las empresas en que invertís en nombre de vuestros clientes?
Buenas tardes. Gracias por invitarme. La pregunta que hacías del impacto, si el brown economy, green economy y hacernos menos malos o mejores, ¿no? Yo creo que es como preguntarse qué prefieres, si ir al médico cuando estás enfermo o tener hábitos de vida saludable. Evidentemente prefieres lo segundo, pero cuando estás enfermo pues vas al médico. Entonces yo creo que con esto del impacto está pasando lo mismo. Es decir, que al final es evidente que queremos tener una economía de impacto y generar nuevos negocios que tengan un impacto positivo. La realidad es que cuando cada 1 de enero levantamos la persiana de la economía, el PIB que se produce es de brown economy y por lo tanto primero tenemos que lidiar con ese brown economy y ver cómo la mejoramos y a continuación del incremental que se genera en la economía esforzarnos para que sean negocios de impacto. Es decir, que en la innovación destructiva de Schumpeter lo que se crea de nuevo que sea de impacto positivo. Pero mientras tanto no podemos olvidar que la economía tiene lo que tiene y hay que mejorarlo. Entonces, En ese mejorarlo es lo que intentamos hacer nosotros. Nosotros nos dedicamos a invertir en compañías y hacerlas más sostenibles. Este es nuestro propósito en la vida como fondo, crear compañías más sostenibles, tanto la propia compañía como sus comunidades. Entonces, para hacer esto, lo que hacemos concretamente es definir el propósito de la compañía, alinearlo con una serie de ODS y en base a esos ODS tener un plan de acción para ver cómo podemos poco a poco transformar la compañía. Te pondré un caso concreto. Pues invertimos en una empresa de material de construcción, distribuidor de material de construcción. Dices, qué cosa más aburrida. Dices, bueno, pues ¿qué podemos hacer ahí? Pues el director general de la compañía dijo, pues nuestro propósito va a ser ayudar a la transformación de la eficiencia energética de las casas. Como consecuencia de esto, lo que hizo fue coger el catálogo de productos que teníamos como compañía, cambiar el catálogo de productos y entrar en Passive House. Y a partir de ese momento empezamos a vender productos que fomentaran el Passive House y eso ha permitido pues, tener un impacto positivo en la economía en un negocio que de entrada hubieras dicho que no lo tendría.
Buen ejemplo. Además estás apuntando a una hoja de ruta, a una transición, ¿no? De cómo en el tiempo vamos balanceando impactos, porque es complejo cambiar, transicionar de la situación actual a una situación con mucho mejor impacto.
Bueno, de hecho, nosotros lo que hacemos es doble. Por un lado, identificamos 60 KPIs por participada, que al final es el cómo haces las cosas. Y luego un propósito que es el qué haces. Y en ese qué haces es cuando intentamos definir qué impacto positivo vamos a tener. Intentamos convivir con las dos. A veces un poco más fácil, a veces un poco más difícil, pero más o menos va funcionando.
Muy bien, con 60 indicadores algo saldrá, sí, sí. Muy bien. Aurora, en la Copa América de Vela estáis bien posicionados para atender temas sociales y medioambientales. ¿Qué tipo de impactos buscáis?
Bueno, en primer lugar, Desiree, muchas gracias por invitarnos esta tarde a participar de esta discusión y de este debate que yo creo que es absolutamente esencial en la vida de los negocios y también en todas las actividades que hacemos. Y gracias a Ada también por invitarnos a esta sesión. Y te diría que nosotros estamos, es decir, la Copa América de Vela es el pinnacle del deporte, del evento deportivo y de un evento sostenible. En ese sentido, nosotros desde el evento y desde los equipos trabajamos para promover todo lo que son innovaciones tecnológicas que puedan permitir reducir ese impacto negativo e incluso generar positivo. Y hay ejemplos muy concretos, hay ejemplos que se materializan, que van desde el fomento, por ejemplo, y el uso del agua en el día a día de las embarcaciones, tanto de boca como de limpieza, y hay iniciativas que se proponen para que sea realmente un uso de agua circular o de agua reciclada o de agua desalinizada. Pero también hay cosas tan innovadoras y tan, si quieres, únicas que se han presentado ya en Barcelona, como es el diseño y el desarrollo del primer barco ligero con hidrógeno verde como combustible. Hidrógeno verde que además se rellena el barco desde una manguera como si fuera una gasolinera en un espacio evidentemente protegido pero abierto como si fuera una gasolinera, demostrando que no solo esa tecnología que se ha desarrollado desde Team New Zealand, y es un ejemplo real, todos los barcos que van a perseguir o van a seguir la regata van a ser barcos de hidrógeno verde, sino que además es asequible y está, y es accesible por parte de todos. Que es el otro reto que tiene el cambio climático y lo que tenemos que hacer para ganar sostenibilidad. Es decir, tenemos que conseguir esos cambios en positivo, pero tenemos que conseguir que todo el mundo tenga acceso a ellos. La diversidad es otro de los valores. Primera vez que va a haber una regata solo de mujeres, la Puig Women Regata, que tendrá lugar por primera vez en Barcelona. Y todo esto que hacemos, que son cosas concretas, que son cosas aterrizadas, que no son discursos, además lo que pretendemos desde Barcelona es darlo a conocer a todo el mundo. Es decir, Hay otra derivada de lo que hacemos, que es decir, comunicar, enseñar, mostrar a través de la Copa América que la sostenibilidad no solo es un derecho de todos, sino un deber desde todas las empresas, y conseguir ese impacto, reducir ese impacto negativo e incrementar ese impacto positivo es factible y además se puede hacer accesible a todo el mundo.
Muy bien, Aurora. Entonces ahí podemos ver todos, a finales de agosto, cómo se visualiza de una manera muy bonita, cómo confluyen temas energéticos, medioambientales, sociales. Vamos a seguir esta regata de las mujeres, todos a tope, y gracias por compartir esta faceta. Bueno, hasta aquí hemos hablado de impactos, la búsqueda de un impacto positivo medioambiental, social, pero claro, la empresa tiene 3 cuentas. El concepto de triple cuenta fue introducido en los años 90 por John Elkington, un consultor británico, y ha sido ampliamente acogido por las empresas. Sin embargo, no siempre de una manera que contribuye. El mismo John Elkington notó hace un poco más después de haberlo lanzado que realmente para una buena aplicación de la idea de la triple cuenta, People, Profit, Planet, hay que reconocer que no podemos maximizar las 3 cuentas a la vez. Hay que reconocer que hay que hacer trade-offs, compensaciones. Entonces quizás hay que sacrificar una cuenta hoy para obtener impacto mañana. Entonces este juego en el tiempo de la búsqueda de impactos, de inversiones, ¿cómo podéis dar ejemplos de ello? Porque claro, nos gustaría maximizar las 3 cuentas. No se puede. ¿Cómo hacéis este juego en vuestras empresas?
Bien, efectivamente, parece que es difícil ganar en todo y de hecho al sistema capitalista actual le pasa esto, ¿no? Que ponemos por encima el profit y nos estamos cargando el planeta, ¿no? Y las desigualdades sociales crecen y esto pues explica perfectamente pues que todo no se puede priorizar. El problema es que estamos priorizando mal, ¿no? Porque esto de cargarnos el planeta, pues un día se hundirá el Titanic y seremos la banda que seguirá tocando mientras se hunde, ¿no? Pues efectivamente nosotros estamos muy convencidos de que se pueden hacer muchas cosas manteniendo profit y no dañando el planeta, pero probablemente no se pueden hacer todas. Y ya que me pides ejemplos, pues en Ferrer, desde hace bastantes años, dedicamos el 50% de los beneficios de la compañía a proyectos sociales y medioambientales. Y esto es un compromiso claro. Esto no son palabras, esto es compromiso claro, y el primero que es un gran activista de esto es el propietario y presidente, que además tiene el alineamiento mío y del comité de dirección y el resto de activistas de la compañía. Entonces, nosotros, el sistema catalán, español, etcétera, está lleno de pymes. Probablemente no les podemos pedir a todas, oye, tus beneficios los dedicas a estas cosas porque probablemente ya sufren para llegar a final de mes. Les podemos pedir que lo que hagan, lo hagan de una determinada manera para que no dañen el ecosistema, no empeoren esta situación. Esto sí se lo podemos pedir. Pero también les podemos pedir a la gente más rica, y de hecho pues las estadísticas dicen que el 1% atesora el 30% de la riqueza, que se empiecen a olvidar tanto de los family office y de la acumulación de patrimonio y que empecemos a colaborar, porque el objetivo es tan urgente y tan grande que o espabilamos o ya no llegaremos a tiempo. Y eso sí se lo podemos pedir a esta gente.
Bien, bien, bien. O sea, hay mucho margen de tener una empresa viable en términos financieros a una maximización absoluta de resultados financieros. Ahí hay mucho espacio de maniobra y de reasignar dinero entre las cuentas. Muy bien, gracias. Abba.
Sí, bueno. Antes de contestarte, hablaré un poco de lo que ha dicho Mario para que no salgamos todos deprimidos de aquí. En los últimos 20 años, en España, las emisiones de CO2 han bajado un 35%. En los últimos 20 años, en España, en generación eléctrica, la emisión de CO2 ha bajado un 70%. Es decir, que se están haciendo cosas. Esta es la primera. La segunda, todos los modelos de cambio climático asumen que la tecnología es lineal. La tecnología no es lineal, es exponencial. Por lo tanto, hay esperanza. Dicho esto, a la pregunta de cómo compaginar el People, Planet y Profit, yo creo que si asumimos que el ser humano es egoísta, cosa que fundamentalmente creo, desgraciadamente, y no lo digo contento, pero es lo que creo que hay que engañar al ser humano, a la mano invisible. Entonces, ¿esto cómo se hace? Se hace con lo que se llaman los Impact Weighted Accounts. Y en eso se está trabajando. Es decir, tenemos un sistema contable que desgraciadamente no incorpora las externalidades negativas que genera nuestra cuenta de resultados. Entonces, lo que hay que hacer es cambiar el método contable que utilizamos en nuestras compañías. Cuando incorporemos en la contabilidad el daño que estamos haciendo al medio ambiente, a las personas, al planeta, entonces veremos una cuenta de resultados muy distinta. Y el mercado va a ser el que va a separar las buenas de las malas compañías una vez tenemos en cuenta el efecto que se tiene en el profit, en el planet y en el people. Y para mí esta es la solución, dejar al mercado que trabaje con la contabilidad.
Muy bien, mencionas la exponencialidad de la tecnología, es verdad. También necesitamos cambio social exponencial. Por eso hoy estamos hablando de multiplicar, de impacto, de no buscar solo cambios incrementales, sino cambios sustanciales, multiplicando ideas por la parte social. Muy bien, gracias. Aurora.
Bien, primero yo me sumo al comentario positivo que comentaba Oriol. Es realmente Europa especialmente está avanzando mucho en esa reducción de emisiones y realmente medidas como la taxonomía verde aprobada, la financiación que distingue en función de las emisiones que realmente Scope 1, Scope 2 y Scope 3 tienen las compañías, todo esto son procesos o son digamos, fuerzas que están haciendo que ese cambio exponencial tenga lugar. Yo creo que el reto, de todas maneras, está en trasladar a esto, si quieres, a todos los países que tienen todavía un reto de crecimiento y desarrollo. Pensar que el mundo occidental se ha desarrollado generando mucho CO2 y tenemos ahí un reto, si quieres, en ese equilibrio, ¿no?, de people, planet y profit, una responsabilidad y un reto muy importante. Y para eso el enfoque que nosotros estamos trabajando y que creo que es un poco aterrizar todo esto que estamos hablando, es poner, si quieres, mucho énfasis y mucho foco en ganar eficiencias. La eficiencia te ayuda a ser más profitable y poder dedicar más recursos a lo que es el planet y en lo que es people también. Por tanto, mucho foco en ser muy eficiente, en ser muy excelente en todo lo que haces y en la innovación, porque ciertamente la innovación es exponencial. Entonces, independientemente de que los modelos la asumen como lineal, un cambio, una transformación, una tecnología. Yo he hablado del hidrógeno verde, que parece que está muy lejos, pero es, insisto, una realidad que hoy veremos funcionando en Barcelona. Pues eso es lo que te hace realmente multiplicar los cambios. Entonces, sin duda, innovación, tecnología compartida además y sin duda todo lo que esté en nuestras manos para ganar eficiencias. Y eficiencias no solo económicas, sino eficiencias también en los procesos para que sean menos contaminantes. Y ese yo creo que es el gran reto y la manera desde las empresas y desde, digamos, nuestro evento, si quieres, desde la Copa América, para tener en cuenta esa triple P de People, Planet y Profit.
Muy bien. Bueno, pues hemos estado aquí con tres personas con mucha experiencia y visiones muy, muy interesantes. Con esto nos despedimos, cerramos esta mesa. Muchas gracias por compartir vuestros puntos de vista.
Gracias.
Καλωσορίσατε. So that means welcome in Greek. But let's switch to English for now. A warm welcome to all of you, alumni, guests, and members of our EADA community. We appreciate your presence on this special day, full of connection and growth. My name is Aneta Zanetu, and as a part of the alumni community and representative of the EADA team, I'm happy to present this exciting moment of our gathering. Today, I'm grateful to show you something that we crafted over the past few months, working hard, taking the moment to pause, actively listen to you and your needs, and then start creating. This moment began with a survey that you responded to, sharing your expectations for our community. We thank you for that. As you can see from the screen, we gathered inputs just from all around the world. So after working hard and analyzing those inputs, this is the time to reconnect our community with diversity, closeness, multiculturalism, lifelong learning, participation, contribution, and above all, fun. So, therefore, today, drum roll please, we want to introduce you to our new EADA alumni community. Of this new app is possible thanks to technology. No matter the distance between us, we will remain united. Our alumni ambassadors from different countries that will minimize the gap and extend our community beyond Barcelona. By downloading our app, you will be having access to updated content, sectorial groups for diverse realities, in-person, regional, and online events happening in different countries that will keep our community together. So you can see some familiar faces or even yourselves. So different events are happening in different countries that will keep our community alive. So we want to make sure that you're fully informed about all of this. Also, special programs for our alumni in Barcelona or abroad to keep extending your horizons. Our merchandising that we crafted specially for you, here, our merchandising, that you can find in our app. All of our products are available, but specifically today, you can find some of our products, but just remember, you need to have the app downloaded. I hope you will love them as much as I do. There are many, many other benefits that we don't have that time now, but I'm sure you're going to explore them soon. So now, let's discover our EADA alumni circular community. So now we have the opportunity to connect and learn from one another, continuously grow. So I just have a question for all of you. Who actually downloaded our new app? I want to see some hands, don't be shy. Okay, I can see some hands. So for the rest of you, well, now is the time. I invite you to be a part of it and continue this moment of connection. Nothing will bring us closer together than this app, our EADA Alumni Circular Community. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the event to the fullest.
Gracias, Janeta, y gracias, Alumni, por hacer posible con vuestra participación y opinión esta nueva EADA Alumni Circular Community. No olvidéis ser activos y participar frecuentemente. Y ahora ya acercándonos al final del encuentro, no queremos dejar de hacer una actividad muy breve pero intensa. El momento re. Como sabréis, la jornada de hoy era una jornada de reencuentro, relación, reconexión, reaprendizaje y replanteamiento. Así pues, os invito a que cojáis de la bolsa de bienvenida un sobre intrigante que indicaba: importante, por favor, no abrir ni doblar hasta recibir indicaciones de la presentadora del evento. Abridlo y coged un stick luminoso, pero muy, muy importante no activarlo, tan solo sostenerlos. Bien. Ha llegado el momento re. Juntos vamos a iluminar este auditorio. Y para hacerlo, no lo activéis, que he visto algún shaking por ahí, no lo activéis todavía. Para hacerlo vamos a dividir este auditorio en dos partes. La parte del centro, a mi izquierda, seréis la parte Reskill 2. Los de la derecha, mi derecha, la parte Regenerate. ¿Sí? Atención, muy importante que sigáis mis indicaciones y al unísono. Vamos a hacer un ensayo general de voz, ¿sí? Cuando yo cuente a 3, los que estáis sentados a mi izquierda vais a decir a la vez Reskill 2 y a continuación los que estáis sentados a mi derecha vais a decir Regenerate, ¿sí? Vamos a hacer un ensayo general, vamos. Cuando yo cuente a 3. 1, 2, 3. Bueno, no está mal, me gusta. Vamos a hacer ensayo general 2.0, ¿vale? Y le vamos a poner un poco más de dinamismo, pero estaba muy bien. 1, 2, 3. Magnífico, muchas gracias. Ahora sí, ahora ya vamos a entrar al momento definitivo. Esto sí va de verdad. Ahora vamos a iluminar este auditorio y ha llegado el momento de que se apaguen las luces del auditorio para que se inunde con vuestra luz. Bien, ahora sí, ha llegado el gran momento. Vamos a activar los sticks luminosos. Tan solo hay que doblarlos y agitarlos brevemente. Bien, ahí lo tenemos. Y 1, 2, 3. ¡Fantástico! ¡Maravilloso! Muchas gracias en nombre de EADA Business School, su equipo al completo, su patronato. Moltes gràcies per ser-hi. Gràcies per la vostra confiança. Ens veiem el proper 2025. Nos vemos el 2025. See you next 2025.